Okay, so what I've done, I've taken the stencil, and the stencil, the links to the files will be down in the description. I've taken the stencils and I've traced them out onto this piece of paper. You could print them out, but I couldn't find access to a printer. My printer was out of ink, and everyone I knew of who had a printer, their printer was on the fritz. So what I did was just pulled the files up on my tablet, on my screen there, and I just traced them. Just traced them with a marker out on. And now I've got what I've done. I've taken just a little glue stick here, right? And I've cut these pieces out, and I just glued them down onto this little poster board. This isn't your conventional poster board. This is more like this sturdy, 1/4-inch thick, just board, I guess. You can find it at any arts craft store, Walgreens, whatever. It's like maybe 35 cents. But anyway, you take the stencils and you glue them down onto here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take me a little razor blade, and I'm going to trim out the edges here, and I'm going to cut these pieces out. And then I'll fine tune them, maybe take a Dremel to these little curved pieces here, and get them good and curvy and straight. But once I get done with these, I'll take them and then I'll put them onto the metal here. I've got a little piece of sheet metal that I got from work. They were just throwing this stuff away, and you know, there it was in the trash. And I was like, "Hey, can I have this?" They're like, "Yeah, take all you want." So yeah, it's rolled up. I got quite a bit of metal here. I think I got plenty to do 2 gloves, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. We'll see how this turns out, and if it turns out real well, then I might consider making something else. Who knows? But once I get these cut out and ready to transfer them onto the metal, I'll get back to you. All right, so you're gonna have to forgive the traffic. It's raining out and people are passing by. But what I've done, I went ahead and I cut all the pieces out of the stencil. What I've done, I went ahead and I trimmed to get pretty close. I'll use my trusty Dremel to get the closeness of it. You can see I trimmed out, you know, just to get it close. But I'm gonna go and I'm gonna trim these out. The straight pieces here, I went ahead and just cut out with my straight razor here. A couple of safety tips. Always make sure your knife is always sharp. If your razor blade gets to be as dull, not only does it kind of screw up your foam board, it doesn't cut, it tears. But a dull knife is a dangerous knife. Sharp knife is a happy knife. Always make sure your knives are clean and sharp. I'm setting a bad example. When you set a knife down, you always want to close it. But this blade, I just put a brand new blade in that, and it's a little too thick for my knife here, so I can't close it. I'm gonna have to engineer something, or maybe take this blade out and figure something else out. But yeah, always make sure you close your knives when you're not doing nothing to them. If you can close them. If you got a sheath for your knife, put it back in the sheath. You're not supposed to leave a knife out with the blade exposed. That's just not good safety. I'll come back and I will show you guys how this all fits together once I get it all trimmed out and ready to go. You know, folks, I would actually be remiss if I didn't actually do this. Dun 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 dun. Okay. All right. Show you guys what's going on here. I got my little trusty Dremel here with a little cone bit on it. All right. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take and I'm going to Dremel around these edges and get nice smooth curves around them and get all this excess off. And get these pieces exactly the shape they need, because this is what I'm going to use to transfer them onto the metal over there. So that's what we got going on, and that's what's happening. I would show you how exactly I'm doing this, but just imagine this little tip right here spins around really, really fast, and it just grinds off the excess material up to the lines. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just grinding this stuff off with this little tool here. I've only got 2 hands, and I can't hold the camera and Dremel at the same time. So that's what's going on, and we'll be back when I'm finished. Quick, boy wonder, grab the batarang. Na 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 na. Wah! Wah! Alright, show you guys what I'm working with here. It's this metal. Like I said, I found it at work. It's not very thick, but I think it'll do for purposes here. This is just going to be a prop piece. I'm not looking to go out and fight, you know, hordes of orcs with it or anything. It's just going to be a little show piece. I'm going to make 2 of them, and if I have some left over, I found a rod here that I think I'm going to make a mace. I'm going to make that into a mace, I think, if I have enough of this. I don't really think this is thick enough, like I said, to make a mace with, but I might be able to, you know, maybe fashion some kind of helmet, or maybe a chest piece or something. I don't know. It depends on how much I've got left over. I've got another roll like this in the truck. This looks like a pretty good piece. I mean, it's rolled up 2 or 3 times. I got plenty of metal to work with. You see it's dented in some places, but I don't think that'll be a problem. I think that'll just, depending on where they are, it might add a little character to it. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I'm working on. That's what I'm working with, and we're ready to transfer all these pieces over to the steel. You can see I went and I trimmed them out. I got into the little curves there real good with my Dremel. But yeah, I mean, we're ready. Some of these look like the Batman logo, I swear. We're ready to transfer these over and start cutting them out of the metal. When I'll get back when get some more progress made. So here's what we got going on. I'm taking the pieces here. Oops, I almost dropped my phone. I'm taking the pieces and I'm laying them on top of the metal here, and I'm tracing them out with this little scoring tool here. And it's just a little point. It scores the metal. You can see where it scores here. And I'm just scoring the metal and just drawing outlines of the various pieces. And then when I get them all drawn out, I'll go ahead and cut them out. Like I did with these here, I'll just get it close, and then I'll use my trusty Dremel over here to get closer to the edges. Alright, that's where we're at right now, and I'll be back with some more progress. Guys, a little update here. I've gone and I've got these pieces all cut out. Right, I needed 5 of these. So there's a left and the right hand. The prints that the plans that are out are for the left hand. So I'm gonna have to take all these pieces and do it one more time for the right hand. So what I'm gonna do is just take this piece right here and I'll just flip it over. Alright, left hand, right hand. Of course, these pieces right here are pretty standard. They're all pretty much the same, but this piece here, you can see that it's different. The left hand side is different than the right hand side. It's a little different. So what I'm going to have to do is just take this piece and flip it over. So the metal, the way I can tell which side's which on the metal is it's got this little blue film on the back of it. You can peel that off, and there's some little sticky back on the back of it. This is used for waterproofing, like air handler pipes or stuff like that. They put it around there to keep it from the condensation from building up or whatnot, but that's what that's used for. And that's just some scrap they had left, and they said I could have it, so here we are. But yeah, I'll have to take these pieces, flip them over, do a right hand glove also. I've still got all these pieces left. These pieces that are up here, these are all done. They're all here in the metal. Now these lines that I've got drawn on here, these are crease lines. What I'm going to have to do is once I get them all cut out, once I get all the pieces ready to start forming and shape and putting together, I'll take these lines here and I'll trace them out onto the metal here, right? And then I'll put creases in the metal with maybe, I don't know, let's see, what have I got in here? I got my chisel here. I could probably take and use that chisel there, maybe, and put a little crease in the metal, a little crease that'll form it up, and it'll make it look good. Trust me, it'll make it look really, really good once I get done with it. But that's where we're at now. I'll get back with you when I've got some more progress. All right, to give you folks an idea of how little material I'm using. Alright, I've got to make 5 more of these and 23 of these. Alright, that's for 5 fingers. Alright, 1 for each finger here, and then 23, I think it's 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, I think that's how it works. Anyway, whatever equals to 23, that's what you get, and then 1 for each finger here. I've still got this big piece to do here, but all these pieces that I've marked out, I've got the ones that are cut out already, and then I've got the rest of them all marked out on this little bitty sheet of metal. You know, I cut a piece off of here, and I've done that twice. Two pieces about this size, and you know, I'm almost done here. You know, 1 little piece about this size for all of these. I think probably about half of this will do those and this. But yeah, it's not taking a whole lot of material to get these traced out. You just gotta work it so that you're using, you know, you're having as little space in between the pieces as possible. You want to lay these out so you get the most bang for your buck, you know, so to speak. You only got a little bit of waste. You can see my waste in here. That's all my waste, you know. Just little bitty pieces and whatnot. Just that's all that's left. So we'll come back with some more updates when I get these cut out. We'll be ready to shape them here in a minute. As soon as I get the rest of them cut. Oh no! I dropped the phone. But like I said, yeah, I got 23 of these to make. I got 5 of these, so that's 28 pieces, 29 more pieces to trace and cut out. Not that these are already traced, but I got to cut these out. So, all right, we'll be back. This is real tedious here. I've got the 23 pieces traced out, and you know, I cut most of the material out from around them. I gotta get in here and do the detail work. All I have are these little tin snips. This is what I'm cutting all this out with, these little tin snips here. But yeah, I'm gonna make 23 of these. I've got them all pretty much sorted. But I'm sitting here looking around, and I was like, wait a minute. I've only got 1 knuckle piece. This goes on the knuckles, right? Look up here, and it's like, oh, I'm supposed to make 4 of them. So I've got to make 3 more of these, get all these cut out, and I have to do the batarang. So I've got these cut out already. They are here. I've got those cut out. Got those 5. Working on these 23 here. I've got to do it for both hands, so I've got to do 23 more of these sumbitches. I think what I want to do is just cut one of these out and then use it for my other hand. Just use this for the stencil. You can see that the stencil here is kind of getting beat up around the edges. It's starting to wear. I'm not getting real good traces on it. You can see my traces are looking pretty crummy. But yeah, I mean, I was just doing the best I can here. Like I say, it's just a prop piece. It's not gonna be anything real fancy. You're supposed to make this stuff out of foam, some EVA foam, but I saw this metal at work, and I'm like, hey, I could use that. So, but yeah, that's where we're at now. It's pretty tedious, slow-going work. It's taking me about hour and a half to get all these cut out, traced, and cut out. Got those, like I said, I got those other pieces done. Everything up here is done. I got to make 3 more of these, so we'll just leave that over here. But all right, yeah, we'll check back in when I've got more done. All right, folks, here's where we're at. I got all the pieces cut out. I did the other 3 pieces that I needed for that. I got all 23 of these, all 5 of these. They're all laid out here in their respective fingers. I got the pinky, the ring finger, the bird finger, the index finger, and the thumb. All right. I got the knuckle pieces cut out here. And now what I've got to do is put these lines on all my pieces. And I've got to make these bends. I also need to go out and drill these holes out. These holes are going to be where the rivets are going. And I've got to transfer these marks, when I drill these out, I got to transfer these marks over to the pieces they go on, and then poke holes in them. I got to drill holes where these marks are. So that's where we are. Like I said, I've got one full glove all cut out. We're ready to bend them to shape and to cut holes in them. Alright, get back with you when we've made more progress.